Okay, we're going to neatly trim back the drywall. This is one of the first steps. We've already got several layers of carpet protection down, and we'll peel those layers of carpet protection off as if we were peeling an onion. So this is a handy little tool, much better for cutting framing on the inside of a house. It's much better than using a reciprocating saw because it doesn't shake the drywall nails. Boy, it's a really good thing we didn't use a sawzall in here today because there's a wire hidden back here. And as you can see, this little blade allowed us to surgically cut back this drywall and make sure that we don't have any wires. And we do have a wire today. So here we go to the next step. Okay, as a recap, you can see now we've peeled back the interior wall. We're going to drill a hole right here that we're going to use to extract the concrete after we make the cut. We're going to put some plastic around here and create a catch basin for any water that may come through the wall as a result of the concrete cutting. You can see we've got 3 layers of carpet protection here, and we'll just simply peel up the first layer and take this debris right out the window. Okay, so it's 9:30. We arrived at the job site an hour and a half ago. Matt and Benny have already partially excavated the hole by hand. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to remove this old window well. It goes to recycling. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to drop this auger in and we're going to drill the dirt out of the ground. And so this makes the process much faster. It's much safer for my guys, and it's the reason we're able to keep employees rather than burning people out on digging holes every day. Okay, why don't you guys stand right back over there. Look at the camera. Stand next to each other. Put your arms around each other. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to drill the dirt out of the ground. In about an hour, the excavation will be complete. We'll be ready to hook up the concrete saws, cut the wall section out, and remove it. There we go. Tool. It's an electromagnetic mounted annular drill, and what we're now doing is drilling the Exo-Frame in preparation for the fasteners to pass through it and into the concrete wall. So you just turn on the switch and there's a magnetic mount, and you see here it mounts itself to the steel frame. We simply turn it on. And now the Exo-Frame is ready to be installed. It'll get a gasket across the back. You can see all the holes in it for the fasteners because this foundation is on piers and it should have extra support. This is the Exo-Frame. Might not show up really good on this covering, but there's several pictures of it on the website. We have a patent on installing this device, this pressure-fitted steel device, into a basement foundation wall to retrofit a small basement. Good morning. We're about halfway done with our installation on this beautiful fall day. It's about 65 degrees outside. Benny right here, Matt right there. Matt's been with me for the duration. He was with me when I started Brighter Basements about 5 or 6 years ago. And Benny's been with me for 3 years. So guys, what do you like the best about working at Brighter Basements?
I like the fact that we provide people with a beautiful and yet a safer house at the end of the day.
I like the fact that we're always on the go. No job is the same.
So there you have it. Now this is some really sticky stuff. It's butyl sealant. It's actually not in caulk form, it's in a ribbon form. And we've borrowed this from the automotive industry, and this is how automotive windshields are set into place. So anyhow, it's really sticky. It's going on the Exo-Frame, and if you notice, the Exo-Frame is powder coated on the back as well. So this sticks to the powder coating. We peel it off, and you can see we've routed the butyl around the holes that are going to be used to fasten the Exo-Frame to the concrete wall. Now when we fasten this thing into the wall, it's going to be pounded in very firmly, and this butyl is going to squeeze out. At the end of the day, we'll take a razor blade and we'll trim that back. So the gasket is invisible after it's installed, and it's forever. Okay, it's 11 o'clock, the excavation's done, and we're getting ready to use this beast right here to make the first cut in the wall. And this is a very powerful saw. Probably take about 6 or 7 minutes to cut this wall section out. We'll cut everything but the corners with this saw. Then the next cut will be made with this saw, and as you can see, this saw plunges all the way into the wall and eliminates any overcut. So this is a good saw. It's 12:20 now, and we just got back from lunch, and so we're getting ready to install the Exo-Frame. And this house was built in the 70s. It's very typical of houses that are constructed in that era. It's got a poured-in steel butt right here. And this is structural. It was set into the foundation when the foundation was built and the concrete was poured around it. With the Exo-Frame, we are able to leave these 3 pieces in, and that's critically important. And rather than taking them out to make room for standard framing timbers. If you take this out, you risk destabilizing this piece of concrete from here to here, and it just makes for a much better installation. So when we're done installing the Exo-Frame, it'll be snug all the way around this buck, and the opening will be secure. And keep in mind that the Exo-Frame will carry a 6,000 pounds of overall load across the top. So in just a moment, we're going to install the Exo-Frame and fasten it into place. Okay, so here we go. We're getting ready to install an Exo-Frame right now. Got it. Got it. Got that wire. Got it. Okay, it's in, snug like a glove. It's probably about 12:30 now, the Exo-Frame's in, and we're getting ready to install this window well. Now this is a very unusual window well. We actually have these manufactured for us. And the difference is, one is it's 16 gauge metal, which is about 50% thicker than the window wells that are available locally. They're 22 gauge. With this product, I'm able to offer a 10-year warranty. Another thing to make note of is this window well, rather than just the metal being bent, has got angle iron welded to it right here. The angle iron, if you notice, is welded to the inside, which is something that you don't see very often. The reason you don't see it is because you can't ship these efficiently with the welded angle iron to the inside. But what it allows us to do is attach this all the way from top to bottom, making sure it's secure against the foundation wall. Otherwise, we would have had to over dig way down here to get a man to put fasteners in the bottom of the foundation. Now, this well is so much heavier than a regular window well, we'll use the Bobcat to assist in dropping it into place. And you'll notice that there's these expansion bars right here, because this well is so rigid that we have to compress the well together because it's too hard, it's too rigid to squeeze together with manpower. as you can see, the well's installed now. I think it's about 12:45. And notice that this well is sitting on a bed of rock. It's not sitting in the dirt. So what that allows the well to do, just gives it a much better chance into the future for living against rust. The other thing you can see with this angle iron now, you can see these fasteners go all the way down the foundation, okay? And then we're going to pour more rock on top of here now. This is something that's very difficult to do by hand, and we're putting over 1,000 pounds of rock in here. That's a lot of 5-gallon buckets. Okay, so it's a couple minutes before 1 o'clock now, and we've got the window well in. For the most part, it's downhill from here. You probably get the picture now, get the idea now of what's going on. The window's going to sit right inside this Exo-Frame. Now the cool thing about this is, if this were a regular installation, we'd have pressure-treated 2x4s or 2x material attached to this concrete. It would be caulked. The window would go into place, and then there would have to be some type of trim pieces glued or nailed to this concrete opening. So basically what we have is we have a piece of glass sitting inside pieces of vinyl that are being attached to wood, and the wood's being attached with glue and caulk to the concrete wall, and it's always damp down here. So what you really have is you've got several different materials, all with different expansion and contraction rates. And they're put together with glue in or caulk in a wet environment. Now the Exo-Frame mitigates for all of that. This is, God knows how much, this product should last probably 50 years. And now you can see the gasket has purged itself out from between the concrete and the steel. The steel also creates a collar for the window to sit in. So the window floats inside the collar and can expand and contract without stressing the caulk. Okay, this is a rather high-tech piece of equipment that we specially made for brighter basements. And silly as it may look, what it allows us to do is just compact all the way down the side of the window well. And like I said, it may seem like no big deal, but it's important because that way when we leave here, we minimize the risk of settling around the well, therefore jeopardizing positive drainage away from the foundation. So vinyl is glossy, powder coating is glossy, so what we do is we just scuff it so that the caulk and the foam that we use to secure the window adheres better. It's about 1:30 and this window's installed, and we're cleaning up the inside. You can measure the amount of water that made it into the house with tablespoons, and I'm just going to pull up the final layer of carpet protection, and as you can see, this is white carpet and there's no mess anywhere. So we'll let the foam set up and the caulk set up, and then we'll show you how the window operates. Here we go. This maintenance-free installation is complete. Window works just like it's supposed to. And the only thing left to do is decide on a trim package. Okay, it's 2:45. We're done. Thanks for a great job, honey. Thanks for taping this for us today. And 8 o'clock, 2:45, we're done. Flagstone's back in place. Got a great looking install. And I just want to say, I challenge anybody to do a job like this, get it done in a few hours. I'll put my two guys up against anybody out there that we do the best work, best egress windows you can get for the money, period. Thanks. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Vinny. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Good job.